Hello, old girl. Haven't seen her in a while. Time to reacquaint myself with her. But before I do that, got some repairs to do. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. So, repairs are in order, and the heroic Harley has a part to play in it. Nothing to do with the bike, but I've been away for a couple of weeks doing some holiday stuff in the land of fakery. Yes, I've been to a land where the knockoff is king. And I found a few knockoff Harley Davidson items, and I'll sort of talk about that later on. And also, well, my phone suddenly decided to not work anymore, so I'm down to the phone shop now to see if I can get this fixed or replaced. An expense I really didn't need. Now, the old girl is also going to be a bit of a workhorse today, because I'm going to have to go to my break and bang camper and go and sort out a water leak in my plumbing, if you know what I mean. So a bit of a workhorse for the phone and the camper, and then yeah, let's see if I can finally get to grips with some things that need changing on the bike. So let's talk about this phone thing first of all. Now, I don't want to sound like an old fart, but here's the deal. You put your whole life on a phone, you digitize it, you know, everything is linked to a phone or a computer or an iPad or whatever it is, or some tablet. Then when something fails, actually you realize that lots of the other things that you need to operate is all linked to being authenticated on a phone. And this is what's happened to me. I've been away abroad, say in the land of knockoff. I won't tell you exactly where, but I've come back, and for the last 4 days I've been without a phone because it completely died. And I haven't been able to do anything on the website effectively. I haven't been able to do anything on YouTube effectively. It's only this morning that I've been able to get onto comments and stuff. And also to access the inner workings of, let's say, Google accounts and things like that, and YouTube, it needs the authentication to go on my phone. Great. Well, I can't do that because the phone has died. So then I want to try and do it via an email, and it won't let me do it, because guess what? To change the settings, I need to get the authentication on the phone to do that. It's a whirlwind of pain, let me tell you. Now, during this period, I've also been getting messages and texts from the local Harley Davidson dealership to say, okay, some parts have arrived, or the deal that, well, I assume that the deal that they were working on for me to upgrade or upstage the bike, they were going to come back to me. And now I've lost all that. I've lost all that information, and I'm going to have to literally just pop down there to see if there is something that they can tell me, because I've lost exactly whatever they were going to tell me until I get a new phone, of course. Then I can sort that out. So it's all happening at the same time. But anyway, that's that. Lots going on today and tomorrow. But really, it's fake housery. Let's get into that one. Okay, so as I say, I've been in the land of knockoff for a couple of weeks, and it's amazing the amount of people are walking around in designer gear and all that kind of stuff. And you know it's all fake. You go into these shops to say, hey, yeah, there's like a Louis Vuitton bag, or there's an Armani t-shirt and all that sort of stuff. Not that I kind of wear that, but you follow my drift. And they want to charge you 50, 60, 80 euros or pounds or dollars or shekels or whatever it is. And you think it's fake. Why am I going to pay that when it's just fake? So then they get really arsey with you because you're lowballing them to say, no, I'll only give you a £5 because it's fake. I know it's fake. It might be a good quality fake, but it's still fake. Then I noticed some Harley Davidson stuff, some caps and some jackets and some t-shirts and fleeces and all that kind of stuff. I thought, haha, thought that'd be really cool to put on the channel. Bit of fake housery going on. Let's just see how these fake items stack up to official Harley Davidson items as well. But again, they just want crazy money for fake items. And they look pretty good, some of them. Some of them look terrible, but some look really good. But anyway, I did not buy any fake stuff. So no fake Harley Davidson items, no fake Harley Davidson stuff going on my bike, apart from aftermarket stuff. Which, is it fake or not? Let's get on the road and, hey, discuss this even further. It's the day after, or the morning after, to be exact. The heroic Harley rides supreme. I'm sure you'd be glad to know. Yeah, it is. I thought it was giving me a few teething problems the other day, but actually, so far, seems good. So, I've just come back from 2 weeks away, not ridden, not seen a bike really. It's been a bit of a strange couple of weeks. So I went to the iPhone shop yesterday, the Apple shop yesterday, to get my phone repaired, and they basically said it's knackered beyond belief. So here's a couple of things, right? So I was away, it got overheated and it got splashed with a little bit of water, but it's supposed to be completely waterproof, this phone, right? Completely waterproof, especially for shallow water. But apparently no, they're water resistant, but that's not what they tell you, these buggers. It's only water resistant. Get this, I've got to tell you this, right? It depends how it gets wet would determine how waterproof it is. So if it gets splashed, apparently it doesn't like it, but if it gets submerged in still water, then it's fine. What the anyway, so I ended up forking out for a brand new phone, whatever it is here, and yeah, it's cost me a mortgage to get this thing. But interestingly, for you guys out there, a lot of these new phones, I don't know about the Android ones, I don't know about Samsung or anything like that, or any sort of Huawei Chinese ones, I have no idea. Certainly with the iPhones, the brand new ones, or the latest version, and going forward, they have this crash detection thing. So if you have a crash, it will send out an SOS signal to the emergency services so they can find you. Basically, the way it works is that if you have a crash and the bike is on your phone or on you, and it senses a sudden stop, like some kind of thump or something, you know, like a crash or whatever, but if it doesn't sense you moving thereafter, then it sends out an emergency signal, or it makes an emergency call on your behalf. And so if you are awake and conscious, you'll know it's being made, so you can cancel it, or you know, it'll just find you. The beauty of this, I've actually had reports of this working to the benefit of a rider. One where the phone has actually been on the rider's person and they've been thrown from the bike and been thrown into thick hedging or into a ditch. So they're completely away from the bike, and the emergency services were able to find them directly. They found the bike, but they couldn't find them. They're out of eyeshot, as it were, and they actually traced them to the ditch. So that's saved the person's life. The other point is, it's when it's on the bike. I know a lot of people ride with a phone attached to the handlebars and all that sort of stuff. Well, it's still within the vicinity, so I'm not sure whether it's better to have your phone on the bike or on your person for this emergency SOS system. I think it just comes down to a personal preference, really. Where do you think it's going to be more beneficial? Personally, I think possibly on your person. At least they know they can direct it to exactly where you are. It doesn't really matter where the bike is, it's where you are in that kind of emergency situation. Let's say you're riding off-road and you fall off your bike and you tumble down a ravine, as it were, whatever a ravine is. Anyway, so you tumble down, and at least they know you're down there and not up there with your bike, as it were. But anyway, I just thought that was really cool to have this phone now with this crash detection system. So there we go. Anyway, so yeah, new phone. I'm just on my way to the Breaking Bad camper to go and fix some leaky pipes. Let me get there. Right, I have arrived at the Breaking Bad camper. Look at that, in all its finery. So got to fix the plumbing now, which is a bit of an arse. I'm supposed to be going away in this next week. I quickly went to check on it a couple of weeks ago. I went to turn on the water. Psh, big spray of water came out. So yeah, got some spares. Going to fix the piping, and away I go. But after this, then I got to go to the Harley dealership to pick up a quote from them to do some work on it, on the bike, if I decide to do it, of course. But also, I've got to pick up a dome nut, an acorn nut there, because that one, you see how all this is going to tie in now? That one is a fake one. Yes, I put a fake component on my bike. No, it isn't fake. It's an acorn nut that fits the thread for the bolt that goes through the tank bracket there, of course. But it's a different size acorn nut on the outside. So basically, because it has to match for me, because I've got one of those problems. So I'm going to have to get a new one. It costs about £2 or £3 or whatever it is, I don't know. But anyway, so I got a call saying, hey, it's in there. So I'm going to pop to the dealership, get that, and away I go. What a day. Listen, it's interesting about fake stuff. As I say, I've been in the land of fakery for a couple of weeks. There's knockoffs everywhere. And I used to get, I don't know so much now, I used to get loads of emails, people saying that a lot of the stuff on their bikes was fake or it was poor quality. I think there's a distinction here between what is actual fake and what is poor quality. Now, if it's just poor quality, that could be for various reasons, right? And motorcycle manufacturers, not just Harley Davidson, all motorcycle manufacturers have recalls periodically for components that are just defective or poorly manufactured. Ducati, for example, just to name one, had a recall a few months ago of rear foot pegs, I think it was, and they were, the metal alloy they were using was poorly manufactured by the supplier, so they basically had to redo it. And it's the same with brakes from Harley or any other component from any other manufacturer. They're relying on a supplier to produce that part for them, and sometimes there's a batch error or there's a problem here or there, so they have to recall it if they can, if they bother to do that, of course. So that's the distinction. That's not real fake, that's just poor manufacturing or a problem in the manufacturing process. However, when you get components for your bike, let's say it's an aftermarket thing, but it's reputable, then I think, like an S&S type thing, right? Then, you know, chances are it's going to be fine. But if you're going for stuff that isn't recognized, let's say from far-flung places, of some far-flung place websites, if you know what I mean, they could be generic, they could be just mass-produced copies of copies. Now, for me, that doesn't bother me if it's kind of around the bike, if you know what I mean. You know, accessories, you know, bits that you clip on that are not electrical for the most part and not mechanical. Electrical, if it's sort of lights and things like that, I don't really mind, but certainly not mechanical. I would not choose something that is, you know, is cheap and you know is been, you know, if it's too good to be true, then yeah, it is too good to be true. You can't buy a component for, let's say, $20 or £20 when really you should be paying £100 or, you know, £70. I know it sounds like a good deal, so, because if it's a mechanical issue, guess what, you don't want that to fail at the wrong time, if you know what I mean. And I know they can rip you off with prices and everything, but do you know what I mean, you are chancing your arm there a little bit with the fake stuff or the poorly manufactured stuff on a budget, let's put it that way. Anyway, right, let me get this done, let me get my plumbing sorted out, as it were, let me get back down the road and get to the Harley dealership. I'll see you there. There you go, leak fixed. Phew. Right, on to the next job, to the Harley dealership to get that non-fake acorn nut. Let me get there. You little bugger, don't leak again. fake no more. I have my acorn nut. So all is well. It's ridiculous really, isn't it? £3.54 for a little nut, just so I've got matching front and rear acorn nuts for my tank attachment. And it's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, not Harley Davidson issue. Well, I suppose it is because they're charging that much, but it's my issue for going to spend it. And you know, I do have a nut, but it's just not the right size. You know, I just don't want to use different spanners. Oh dear, you know. Anyway, so fakery all around, and it's up to you, I suppose, whether you want to have it on your bike or not. I suppose if it's non-critical, then well, fill your boots, but if it is kind of a critical component, then probably best to go for something that's you know, tried and tested, let's put it that way. I'll tell you one thing about these technology, right, phones and all that sort of stuff. It's amazing how reliant you are on the technology, and then when it fails, then you're kind of scuppered. And I found this out, that I couldn't use other things like on my laptop or an iPad or something like that, because I didn't have the phone to authenticate loads of things. And loads of things that I needed to do, I just couldn't do because I didn't have a phone. I went and got this phone, brand new phone, and it's supposed to transfer everything across, and it didn't. So I've just spent the last day, well, and night, just trying to get all this sorted out. Now, suppose if you don't travel, it doesn't really matter that much, but more and more now, phones are being used as a travel companion. And when I say that, let's say you can put tickets on there, you can put boarding passes on there, you can put travel details on there. But if it doesn't work and you're away, and let's say, and in my case, I was abroad and it completely failed. Luckily, my partner had her phone, so she could have everything on there. We didn't have paper copies because they couldn't give us paper copies. So without the phone, we kind of would have been screwed. And they want you to put everything on the phone. So there we go. You know, is it another case of over-reliance on any kind of technology is a bad thing? Is it a case that sometimes the more tech that you have on any product, the worse off you could potentially be if it goes wrong? Because there is an assumption that it will never go wrong, but as we all know, every now and again things will go wrong. So is it probably best just to stick with the old tried and tested, you know, the analog, as it were, as opposed to all the high tech? I don't know what the answer is. Let us know your thoughts. There's lots going on in this video. New phones, when they fail, fakery on your bike, and also as a workhorse going to fix things well, when things suddenly break down, like in my Breaking Bad camper and I sprung a leak. Lots to digest. Let us know in the comments below. I need to go and do a bit more riding and go try a few more bikes out. I just had a chat with the guys in the Harley dealership. I need to go and organise a few more test rides, I think. Oh yeah. Right, catch you again. Ta-da.